Alright, you guys, so it's been a while since I made a proper video on the old Minerva server, and for those of you who were watching, I last left you in suspense because we were working on the flower farm. And most of this was done on stream, so I mean, I wouldn't blame you for not knowing that this was sort of finished. But while I was working on it, I had a lot of the wiring in place and things that I was working on, and most of these were done. Ertige, the other guy that I'm working on this with, claimed that I think two of them were like two of the farms were left to be done. And then he started tinkering with all of my wiring and changing a bunch of stuff like the aesthetic and whatnot. And I got annoyed by that because he's done a lot over at this project, which I do appreciate. Don't let my childish emotions get in the way of that. I really do appreciate all the work that he's done helping me. But this was kind of my pet project. I didn't like him messing with my wiring, so I kind of just backed off. I'm like, all right, you know what? I got other things to do on the server. You got this, and got this. He did. So I don't know if this is the way I would have done it, but what you're looking at down there is the bone meal input. So from this chest right here, as I understand it, I haven't had an explanation from him. You would put in the shulker boxes full of bone meal, and then they would go down this chute, and then this simply just distributes it to each and every farm. And then what this system is without testing it, I can pretty much figure out that this is a way to cut off the item stream and then turn this into a temporary elevator, and then it pushes it up into this system. As far as I can see, there's not really... Oh my god, there's a lot of bone meal in there. Holy shit, that is a lot. As far as I can tell, there isn't any way to turn this off, but... Again, he might have something in place. And that's what this wiring is back here. This is vestigial. You can see he left this behind. It's not connected to anything. This was the wire I had in place to cut off this hopper. It might connect down here. Yeah, it seems like it does. I'm just being silly here. So if this bone meal chest is full, it seems like somewhere in here something gets powered. I'm not really sure what I'm looking at. See, I'm talking on my ass because this isn't my wiring. You'd be a little surprised just how specific something as simple as wiring can be. Every single person is kind of like an artist. Like, each and every person has their own little flavor, and it looks a little different. Like, there are a lot of ways to do exactly what you're seeing here. In fact, me and Ertige were both working on shulker box unloader designs and came up with very drastically different designs, but I ended up using mine because I, well, custom tailored it for this circumstance, and it worked completely fine. So that's the update of the flower farm. I haven't tested it. I haven't ran it a ton. He might have done just as much, but it looks like the bone meal can finally be distributed, and we have way more flowers than we ever needed before, which would have been true if we didn't go to all this effort and ran one of these farms for 15 minutes, but hey, look at that. And I don't think I have a screen... Well, I guess I can show the screenshot right on Discord, or from Discord right on the screen now, of what Southern has that he's working on for this. Basically, we had a member called Duck. He didn't have a ton of time, but he got this far on, like, the central storage area for the flower farm, and he kind of just left halfway. Personal life got to him. He didn't have the time to work on it. He felt bad, so he kind of dipped out of the Minerva membership, and he left us with this. Honestly, I think this dome up here is fantastic. The little glass flowers looks fantastic. But Southern changed up the black wool, and I think he sort of finished the aesthetic. And for those of you who don't know the names of all our members, Southern is one of the operators on the server. He's a long-term member, and he is quite interested in getting back into this whole thing, so into working on this. So we'll have to see what he comes up with, but I'm gonna leave it there. In other news, another product of Ertige is trying to avoid school procrastinating homework, so he grinds Minecraft adventures, is the crayon box. So I made an episode on this a long time ago, link on the screen right now. It was a pretty good episode. We did some pretty cool stuff, but if you don't know what we're looking at, each inside of every single one of these crayons is a 400,000 per hour chorus fruit farm, which can really only be ran one at a time because they're insanely laggy and they require a person to operate it. And we also have a metric ton of chorus flowers. I think we have a shulker box full, or like a chest full of shulker boxes full of chorus flowers at the storage room, which we hand gathered throughout. I can't remember what we were doing that day, but we were watching a movie or something. We were just passively mining chorus flowers, and maybe I was playing a game during that. I honestly can't remember, but we got a lot of chorus flowers, and we never really quite set up a system to retrieve the chorus flower down there, but that's not the point of this. The point of this is the fact that I never showed this finished interior on my channel, And there isn't even a collection system finished up here. So we might revisit this someday, but for the most part, this is now looking a little bit better than the last time I showed it on camera. Alright, now taking things back to spawn real quick, I want to show off something that you guys already know, but I wanted to show it here because I snuck it in at the end of one of my videos, and that's that I finally, I would like to say, completed the iron crafting area. I've been having fun crafting iron again. I've been starting off my streams with like 30 to 45 minutes of just me crafting iron because that's how long this takes. But it's okay because it gives me a nice chance to interact with chat and just hang out with you guys just while we're getting warmed up. And I don't know, I like crafting iron. In fact, if I show the scoreboard, set display, sidebar, iron, nope, iron made, I finally overtook Crime Lord. He was one of our old members. He was an operator for a while, but he left on not so good terms. But that's besides the point. He had an insane amount of iron crafted long ago, and I finally not just caught up, but overtake him. So we have each crafted nearly 2 million iron, and that just feels... Wow, okay, that's a lot of iron. But currently we are filled up to here, which means we are 600,000 minus that. So we're almost at 3 million iron blocks on the server. I'm not going to do the specific math, but we might actually be there. Yeah, I think we're pretty close to 3 million blocks, because this chest isn't totally full anyway. But, and then of course we got more at the storage room, so I'm sure throughout the world, especially the iron that we've placed around, we have hit 3 million blocks of iron. And some of the guys have talked about making something like a 255 or 256 by 256 by 256 cube of iron and just filling like a perimeter with it, which I'm totally down to do. I mean, if you guys remember our past world, I'll show a screenshot or a flyby of it right now. We actually got pretty decent progress done on a 1 million block 100 cubed iron cube. And we never finished that just because the iron farm is only 64 villages. It wasn't super fast. Like, for reference, our slowest speed right here is 192 villages. So this just running as is, I think is that 3 times faster? Yes, 64 is 128. Then yeah, so that's 3 times faster is our slowest setting. So we're just raining in iron here. Like, we have a plentiful amount. But a 256 cube of iron blocks would be about 13.7 million. So if you thought the 3 million was a lot, well, that's what our target would be if we wanted to hit that. So a couple of us floated the idea of clicking this button here, quadrupling the speed, and then just crafting iron. But I don't know if we'll do that. We could. We have a very powerful server, and it's not exactly the most active survival world anymore since we're in the late game of our season here. So it could be fun to do that, but who knows. As for the aesthetic, again, I'm just really happy with this. This turned out really well. I've been using this to craft. The only time it ever hiccups at all is if the shulker box kind of flies out in this direction, and it's super easy to just throw it back in the hopper. So that's not even a problem, and then it just looks really clean, and I'm glad the way it turned out. Alright, and while we're over here at spawn, let's take a quick flyby to something that I really haven't shown a lot on the server, which is our Guardian farm. Now, I'm going to try to find some screenshots, maybe if it's on one of the creative servers, a quick flyby, but Southern and Repper and I don't want to miss people, but a lot of the more artistically inclined members of Minerva have taken quite a lot of time and creative designing a facade for this Guardian farm, and I'm not sure if we'll ever build it on this season, but it's not the kind of thing that's unique to this world, so we might end up getting this on a world someday. But as for now, it sits here just as a blank. I'm going to do this in creative just so I can fly around while this happens. Just going to be a blank Guardian farm. And you can see it turns off and on. They made quite a few dispensers for this, so you can see all the water comes out. And, well, you've probably seen it before if you're watching my channel, but it's just your casual 120k Guardian loot an hour, and this thing is really cool, and somebody actually impressed me. They I think they said it was Jacob on our server, Jacob bro. All the loot comes into here, and then it goes up an elevator, and it fills into a custom version of my design for a sea lantern crafting system. So what this is doing is, I'm gonna have to go into creative if I want to show this. What this is doing is, oh, this one bugged out, but it's supposed to be collecting all the different items of one type, like you can see here, where it's just collecting crystals. And then this is a hopper synchronizer, so once all of these are filled up, the one at the end will drain them out, and then that way you get an even spread of items within the system. And if this is filled up enough, there you go. You can see that these chests have the exact same amount in each of them. And what happens is when you trigger this observer and this observer, it pushes all of these pistons forward, starts a clock, and starts spitting out all of the items that you need to craft. And it makes crafting sea lanterns very, very, very fast. In fact, in the speeds that I boasted in the video that I demonstrated for a basic design of this, you can craft about 40 sea lanterns per second, which I'm not actually sure how that equates to this farm. I'll try to put the math on the screen now, but that's about what this farm produces. I mean, it produces a lot. I mean, you don't have to AFK this thing very long. Like, I've told this story before, but all of this perimeter was basically just stone. About a day or two after they got this thing functional as you see it now, they filled in the 100,000 plus sea lanterns needed to do this. So, didn't take a lot of time, and I just love Guardian farms. If you guys have seen one of the most popular videos on my channel, then you would know that. I made a Guardian farm video for a math project in school. They fascinate me. I love the blue aesthetic. I like the blocks that they create. I think the mob is pretty cool. I love how easy it is to make an insanely fast farm. Like, I'm pretty sure it can't really get faster than a basic design of this, and it doesn't need to. I mean, 6 figures an hour for anything ever is pretty much fast enough in Minecraft. Like, it's ridiculous. Sea lanterns are supposed to be a harder to get, really, really good looking block in Minecraft, but then us technical players make a farm like this, and then they just become scaffolding. And that's one of the reasons I just love Guardian farms. I love them. I love them. But moving on to the Ruby Center, I got some things to show on over there. Oh, also, this was broken before. It's working now. And we're back at the Ruby Center. Ooh, yeah, see? I didn't go to the end for no reason, just to show you guys something. I went here so I could get back to the... Alright, let's just get into it. So, spectator as always, because these things are so hard to show. This is just one of those little maintenance things. You know, when you play in a world like this with a machine like this as your main sorting system, things break. I mean, it's not people's fault, just, you know, shit happens. So, what happened here was, I don't even know, but the shulker box system here was backing up. It wasn't sorting through the shulker boxes as it should. This is our storage room where we put in all of our items in these 4 chests. And then automatically right here, it tries to shoot every single item into a dropper. And the only item that can't go in from a dropper into a shulker box. And the only item that can't go in there is a shulker box. So the shulker boxes get filtered into their own system. And this is one of my shulker box unloaders. I'll put a link to the video here. It's a pretty solid design. It works pretty well. It's just, it broke. And it seems so simple, but this block was missing, and this torch was gone. So by default, it just looked like a bit of wiring, and as somebody who hasn't touched this design for a long time, I was very confused. But I ended up figuring it out, and just a torch and a single block. I had to use my own video to remember how the hell this thing worked, but that alone fixed the entire thing, and now we are sorting business as usual. What's not business as usual is a few of you might have noticed in times past that there was a cat in the middle of this perimeter. That was Chaser's contribution to the world, but it would appear as though somebody had a little something else to say about that cat being here, and in a fit of explosions and some simple glass replacement, it is no longer. Now, for this update, you wouldn't know it by just looking at it, but something is a little different here. On stream, which is why I'm showing it in this video, because you guys never got this update, I've done quite a bit of work on the slime harbor. So, we've gotten a new technique inspired by a couple of the people who built this thing. It's amazing how simple it is, but we were always kind of just overwhelmed by the sheer amount of different items that you need to build this thing, so we just took it simple, and I've now started a new technique where I start with the dark oak, and then the oak wood, and then I fill in all the fences and trapdoors that follow. So that made this so much easier to build. Like, this whole side is something like everything you see in frame right here on this side of the building and the airship I did within a few hours, and it was pretty nice. I'll try to show a screenshot from one that I took over here where this thing looks really spooky and like kind of cool when you've just got the dark oak like wood and, you know, stairs and slabs. Like, it just looks structurally sound but not quite full, and that's because you got to put in all the different details. And it's pretty nice that this whole thing was built in about 4 layers. So you got the dark oak first, then you put in all the wood, and then you put in all the trapdoors and the fences, and those alone take their own pass, by the way. And then you go through with all the different kinds of glass. They use gray, dark gray, light gray, black, white, brown, and then every single different kind of door. Believe me, they did not make it easy on us, but once you get that pass through, it's really nice. I'm so glad to be working on the slime farm again. And as everybody asks, yes, we are planning to restart 1.13, 1.14 drops, but I still want to get this thing done. And it's fun to work on this while we're chatting with people, because much of what I did in the live stream, which was actually just over here, I did a lot of the interior around here. Didn't get a ton done, and you can see this is where I left off with my shulker boxes there, but it was nice to have a group call in Discord of like 12 people just chatting about whatever it is we're chatting at the time, and simultaneously getting some stuff done in the slime farm. And I don't know, it feels good to be working on this again. And I do have one more thing to show you guys before I close out this video, and it's a little bit exciting. And here it is, an empty space. For what, you may ask? Well, let me show you. This is a rough outline of something we showed on the stream, but this is a very, very rough outline of what Reggie, our main builder, the guy who designed the slime farm that you guys just saw, has decided he wants to do for the mob farm. And he's taken into account all of our different limitations, meaning there can only be 1 block of solid at, I think we're right on the edge of a chunk border here. I canceled my recording because my new recording button is my old F3 button. And then it's just glass, and it looks ominous from above. I'm having chunk errors here because it's not rendering all the glass properly, but it's a little spooky just how perfectly, like, a few layers of glass can mimic fog. It's pretty nice what he's got going on in here. And I'm going to overlay some screenshots right now because he hasn't properly finished the world download or gotten it on one of our servers yet, but he's done a little bit more, and he's making like a shafts design. I think of shitty shafts from Fortnite, but like, it's pretty cool. And as an excuse to like light up the insides and make all of this spawn proof, he's decided to go with glowstone, which I just think is clever. It looks so good. It works so well. And I know that I'm not showing you guys the full thing here because he wanted to release it on stream. So I'll show you the screenshots that he sent us. It's pretty limited, but if you guys tune in today or soon after this video's release, I'll try to maybe put a link to the stream in the description. You guys can see what this thing will finally look like. So yeah, that's kind of the announcement. We've got mob farm in the works because I would like to get this thing built. It'll probably be a huge pain. It'll probably take I don't know. I'm just worried because Forge bugs out with string, and I'm not sure if this thing will end up working if we build it with Forge, but I don't know. I want to try it anyway. I want to get a mob farm working. That thing should be over 170,000 items an hour, which is absurd. And I just can't wait to get it built. So yep, hope you guys enjoyed this little update video. I tend to do these regularly because I stream a lot more than I just, like, whenever I'm playing Minecraft nowadays, I'm streaming, and I do that a little bit more than just making videos, because there are things like working on the slime farm where I'm not going to show you guys a 20-minute video of me just placing blocks in here, but in a setting like a stream, like I mentioned, with a group call and the right people, it can be a pretty fun time for me and the viewers and everybody involved. So I've been streaming a lot, and I know that not everybody watches the streams, so I like to make little videos like this showcasing what it is we've been up to. And this windmill looks like it's a lot bigger than it used to be. Is that a prank? This thing looks crazy. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. Take it easy, and I'll see you guys next time.